shouldered some of that leadership that you guys needed there?
Yeah, I think we got a great group of leaders, Akeem being one of them. You see the way he's brought a great focus every day in practice and the meetings, helping out some of the younger guys. But, I think more so than just that leadership role, taking over some of the load offensively. And I think with that, building that chemistry with Kyle, those two guys getting on the same page. The thing that Akeem does a really great job of is he brings it every day. He's the same guy, he's consistent, and I think across the board, when you look at our leaders on the offensive side of the ball, Kyle and David and Akeem, that's what you see is a group of guys with great consistency, and I think that helps develop those younger guys where they look up to the guys that have produced and the guys that have had success. And so, I would say that would be the biggest thing I've seen out of him is just great consistency.
Coach Campbell talked about the collaboration that you guys have in offense and play calling and things like that. What is kind of the chain of communication in terms of how you go about that and kind of talk through things as they're happening in real time?
Sure. I think obviously with our staff, we've all branched off of Coach Campbell. I mean, what we do offensively, what you've seen the last couple of years, what we did prior to here, has all come from, the system he put together and that he's been running for a long time, regardless of who's been the coordinators, who's been the coaches. Again, going back to the word consistency, it's stayed relatively the same. And so, now it's leaning on different guys to kind of help shoulder some of the weight, whether it's in the passing game, whether it's in the running game. But I think ultimately the one thing we do a great job is being really collaborative, being a pretty good collective group and saying, hey, this is our plan of attack, this is what we're looking for. And then on Saturdays, myself, Coach Gordon, Coach Golish, Coach Shieldhouse, Coach Myers, all doing our part to sit there and look for the little intricacies and what we're seeing in the defense to be able to give him feedback and ultimately make sure he's got a great handle of what's happening. What are we doing well? What aren't we doing well? Where's areas we should be attacking? Where's areas that we got to kind of stay away from? So it's meshed really well. Obviously, we've had all spring together and certainly through fall camp, and we're pretty excited about what we've been able to do as a group so far.
Coach Campbell, I think, said in the past game calling you were heavily involved anyways. Were you in the press box last year?
I have been. I've been in the press box each of our last two seasons. Myself and Coach Gordon, both likely up there again this season. And I think for me, obviously coaching the wide receivers, Coach Gordon coaching the quarterbacks, that's a group we keep a pretty close eye on. And so, I think he does certainly lean on us a little bit and certainly has a lot of his ideas through his experience of things that have worked against certain looks, certain coverages. And so, we kind of try to keep an extra eye on that piece of it and certainly did the same a year ago when Coach Manning was here. His emphasis being a little bit more of the run package throughout the week, and then, us kind of taking a look at what we were doing in the passing game.
How much is Kyle involved in play calling and offensive scheming and all that?
You're going to find out. Kyle can handle a lot of things that's different than maybe other quarterbacks we've had in the past. And I think the one great positive is Kyle, being where he's at academically in his career, he's got a little bit of extra time to be able to spend on, the game plan, what we're doing offensively. But, he's a very mature quarterback. He's a guy that can handle the thought process of what we're looking for, what we're trying to find, and he brings great suggestions. There's times where he says, Coach, this isn't what I enjoy. And so I think having his feedback is huge for us, and I think certainly it dates back to a year ago and why we were able to kind of get things rolling once he got in there, because I think he has a really good handle of what we're looking for and also what his strengths are and where he feels the most comfortable.
Can that help you at times with tempo? Because Akeem said yesterday that sometimes, like when you guys even tried it in practice, like you don't have to look to the sideline. Yep. You just kind of keep going since you can do that.
Absolutely. I think especially some of the new rules that you're seeing with, the 40-second clock starting right after a kickoff and some of those things where you don't have as much time to look to the sideline all the time and see what's going on. Possibly having the opportunity to put the game in the quarterback's hands at times, or when we're playing fast and he sees something that he likes, giving him the ability to go to that if, again, throughout the week, he's got a pretty good handle on what we're trying to do. But the great thing is again, it all stems from Coach Campbell all the way down. And, if we're all on the same page as a staff and with Kyle and with the rest of the playmakers we got on offense, I think we're going to have an opportunity to really, put ourselves in the best position each situation that we get into week to week.
With how much you guys lost last year in production from Allen and everyone, how much does it help the younger guys to go up against Brian Peavy and DeAndre Payne in practice every day?
Absolutely. I think that's one of the great strengths of being a scout team player, as you're, possibly not repping with the ones and the twos, is you're getting a chance to go against the ones and the twos on the other side of the ball. And, there's some young guys like Tariq Milton at receiver, guys like Charlie Kolar and Chase Allen at tight end, guys like Johnny Lang and Kene Nwangu at running back. I mean, Kyle Kemp 2 years ago or last season, those guys all got a chance to go against our best defensive players day in and day out, and I think it does strengthen them. If you have the right mentality, you have the right approach, and you go out there and you challenge those guys to make them better, but also put yourself in a position where individually you can strengthen your game. And so definitely something we stress with our young guys. I think especially we've all talked about, that new red shirt rule and some of those things. I mean, shoot, you never know when that opportunity will come. And I know I was just sitting in the locker room talking about one of our young freshman defensive players that's looked good all week in practice that's given us fits. So, I think it certainly becomes a great benefit for all those young guys. If you're not repping with the ones and twos, then go play against the best and give those guys an opportunity to get better throughout the week. Give yourself a chance to grow as well.
What's Hakeem's most impressive attribute to you?
Yeah, I mean, outside of the fact that he's 6'6", 220 pounds and can run, I mean, he's just a guy that I think confidence has grown in him. I think the thing that I really love is as a receiver is he's got great length. He can, stretch the field and get on top of defenders. He's strong and physical and create separation when defenders are hip to hip with him. And I think he's gotten to the point where he understands coverages. He's understanding how to use his releases that work for him. I think just his ability to separate is pretty special. Whether he's out on the outside, you saw it a year ago on the inside. I mean, he's got an ability to get open, whether it is using his body or using his feet and his hips to get in and out.